Next month, on March the 16th, filing for the midterm party primary elections will take place. David Atchley, an upstate businessman, says he'll be stepping into the political arena as a candidate for South Carolina's 4th Congressional District, presently being represented by Congressman William Timmons, who has indicated he will also be seeking re-election. Mr. Atchley joins us on the guest line today. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Well, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate your time today. Let's start with the basics. You're stepping into a race against a sitting congressman. What ultimately motivated you to run for the 4th District seat? Was there a specific issue or maybe a specific moment that sort of crystallized that decision for you?
Well, I didn't just step in. I mean, running for office has been a lifelong journey for me. I had the privilege back in my Daniel High School days to work for Strom Thurmond as the Senate floor page, and when I worked for him in Washington D.C., he called me in the office in his great way and said, "Son, you're not up here to have fun. You're up here to learn at a very high level, and you got to promise me one thing. You got to promise me in your lifetime you're going to run for some sort of political office. That could be city council, school board." But he said, "I expect, since you're learning at the best level, that you'd run for some federal office." So that was back when I was 16, was able to take that. My father was president of Clemson. We spent many time with Representative Campbell back in the days, many times listened to him. And I grew up with, maybe you don't know, out in Missouri under the Limbaugh name. So my mom was related to Rush Limbaugh. So I had a lot of different conservative values and carried that forward in my business career in the district and other places. And 40 years of experience making impact through nonprofits, for-profits, but an immediate impact in the district. So why now? I think the district needs attention. It needs impact. And I look at my why is to bringing impact to the region as well as Washington, D.C.
You've talked about your career in business. What aspects of that business career do you believe prepare you to serve effectively in Congress?
Right. Well, I have a range of experiences starting in the law enforcement world. I had a software business in the 911 space where we would we would build systems for police, fire, and EMS. So I know the importance of the mission of law enforcement and making sure we have safe communities at a very grassroots level and servicing them for many years. And then obviously I was born and raised in education. And then I serviced in education, worked for Wofford College, worked for Presbyterian College, and ultimately at Mary Baldwin, running capital campaigns with huge impacts for the school, but for the region. And, I had the opportunity working K through 12. Now I have a consulting business that works with 16 different brands throughout the regions and all different elements of life. So impact and raising money. And collectively, I've raised 700 million directly impacting the district. So my business background, my education background, uniquely qualifies me for running for this position for sure.
Yeah. David Atchley is my guest today. He will be filing next month to run in the 4th District Republican primary. David, if elected, talk with us about some of those specific issues. Give us your top three priorities that you believe that you would need to address as the 4th District Congressman.
Right. So obviously working on the district and leaders and making this the best district in the country is a top priority. Working with business leaders to recruit industry, build infrastructure, support that industry is a top priority. So I will be in the district. Equally, I'll be in DC in some areas that are different that I think are important for national issues. I grew up in Missouri on a farm, and I know the farming crisis that is on the horizon. And that speaks for it now. We have farmland out there, and we have just lost 200-year generational farmers that did our family well for many years. So I would look at, we need to find solutions around making sure our farmers are the most protected asset in this country. We're built on agriculture. We do not want to lose our agriculture, our food source, to other countries. So that needs to be a priority. It's not talked about often, but I do know it firsthand. The other two elements that are differentiating is mental health. I think a lot of the systemic problems we have out there with shootings and other things are based on mental health. We don't invest in enough of that, and a lot of that's an insurance problem, medical problem, but we have to invest more in mental health and make that a priority. And then lastly, it's talked about a lot. It's a great tool. Artificial intelligence, as we know it today, is a great tool. However, it can be a misused tool. And we don't have enough boundaries around artificial intelligence. We need those to come quickly, because for every great use, there are misuses, and ignoring that only allows future problems that we're not going to get ahead of in the future.
David Atchley is with me today. He is an upstate businessman, says he's going to be talking his hat in the ring in the upcoming Republican primary for the 4th District congressional seat. David, this week, Congressman Timmons voted against the House leadership's plan to end the partial shutdown. He and 20 other Republican representatives opposed the bill supported by President Trump, and they gave these reasons. Lawmakers argued the bill needed to include provisions to shore up election integrity. It should come with a full year funding for the Department of Homeland Security and eliminate Democrat-requested earmarks. If you were in Congress, would you have also voted against this? And what's your response to this?
I mean, obviously, it's something new to me. I'd have to study that and look at that. But all that needs to be evaluated and needs to be discerned so that, we aren't just necessarily going with one way or another. It does come with great discernment, and the votes are important to look at it that way.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah. One of the things over the years, and I've been around for a while, involved in Republican politics. I don't hear Republican candidates talking much about balancing the budget anymore. That used to be a mainstay. You mentioned Congressman Carroll Campbell. He always ran on the platform of balancing the budget. Talk with us about that. I mean, what is the national debt now? Where are we with that? And what would you do to balance the budget and start paying that debt off too?
All right. So, the deficit's mid $30 trillion. It's unheard of, right? And it's one thing that we need to make cuts, but we need to make meaningful cuts that are sustainable. And there is waste and fraud in everything, in all programs. We need to identify the waste and fraud using tools like AI. That would probably be a good use of that, to not just identify, but eliminate it. But we need to eliminate it, not just talk about it. So to reduce wasteful spending comes with action. So you get a law, I don't know what our interest payment on this a year. It's probably $4 trillion is my guess. We have got to be disciplined and be able to run this like a business. I've run a business. I don't run a business in the red, or I'd be out of business. So we do need to do more than just talk about it. We need to act on it.
Yeah. Congressman Timmons is he's in the middle of his 4th term.
Right.
In your view, what is the biggest difference between your approach and his? And let's just be honest here. It's tough taking on an incumbent. Why should the voters of the 4th District make a change now?
Well, my record, for sure, my experience. I'll put my record and my experience up against anybody. That is very important. Working in the district with my experience in the best district in the country will be a top priority and needs to be focused on. As far as in Washington, there are things that can be done, that need to be done for the district. And, just the MSA, as far as, I don't know if you know what that means, but in Washington, it's Spartanburg and Cherokee and Union. Here in Greenville, it's Greenville, Pickens, Oconee, and Anderson. Those are separate districts in Washington. You combine them, you're number 18 in the country, like Salt Lake City is. That gets many more looks, that gets more federal funding. And, you know, we have to also invest in our infrastructure. You don't grow without infrastructure, education to have great jobs available, but we, once again, live in the best district in the country. And focusing on those, I do believe that, and I've, I didn't just hop in this. I've been doing a lot of interviews since May. Everyone tells me focus on the district, just like Thurman did, just like Carol Campbell did. Those are great leaders that serve their district, and that's why I'm different. I will serve my district.
Along those same lines, let's talk about how you will serve the people of the 4th District, as far as accessibility, accountability. And let me just give you an example. I've been in a number of meetings over the years of public functions where Congressman Timmons has readily given out his cell phone to voters. Is this something you'll do? And also talk about term limits. Will you, or is there a certain number of terms that you will pledge to serve? How long is too long as a member of the U.S. House?
So to answer the first part of that question, I do believe it's important to be accessible at all times. But not only that, hold town hall meetings, go to hospitals, listen to the leaders, see what their issues are so you can make a difference not only in the district but in DC. You got to understand what the constituents do. As far as term limits, I'm absolutely for term limits. To me, it's three terms in Congress, which equals about one term in the Senate, right? And building a better future to hand that off. But ultimately, I do believe this, that term limits are in the voters' hands, right? If they don't want me to serve, they need to turn me out or defeat me in the election. It's ultimately to the voter to decide what term limits are. So that's my goal, is to get them and term limit Mr. Timmons out.
Sure. David Atchley is with us today. In our final moment or so, David, is there any specific message you have to voters? And if listeners would like to reach out to you, how do they find out more about David Atchley?
Well, obviously I have a website and can visit that. However, email me at datchley@frontier.com, or my website has a portal to email me. Love to hear what the issues are out there. What are you thinking? It's a big district. Without listening, you don't know how to apply action. So I would say go there, volunteer. If you do support me, we need an effort at all levels. Spartanburg, Greer, and Greenville is the district, and I'm going to work hard throughout the district.
Yeah. And what is that website?
It's just Google David Atchley for Congress, and it'll come up. It's the first rated thing. I'm happy to send that to you, and you can put it in the group chat.
Sure thing. That's David. Appreciate your time today, and hey, we'll be following as the campaign progresses.
Yeah, love to come back on and give you whatever updates whenever you want, however you want, for sure.
Very good. Thank you, sir.